A young girl sat alone in the glow of streetlights, her weary eyes hinting at secrets far heavier than her fragile frame could carry. To those who hurried past, she was just another unnoticed face, until Keanu Reeves crossed her path. A fleeting act of compassion soon exposed a heartbreaking reality, one that bound them both in ways neither could have foreseen. What was she hiding, and why did every passing moment feel like borrowed time? Stay with us to uncover the truth. And before we dive into this poignant journey, let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment below and subscribe the channel. Los Angeles never truly sleeps. It's a place where neon lights and glittering billboards ignite the night sky, illuminating rows of palm trees that sway under the weight of both stardom and solitude. Just past midnight, the streets become a curious mix of busy traffic and hushed corners. While the well-lit boulevards brim with luxury cars and patrons exiting high-end restaurants, a quieter struggle remains hidden in the darker alleys. Souls who've slipped through the cracks of this sprawling metropolis. Down one such alley, the distant rumble of music and laughter clashes with a near-suffocating silence. This is where Lily, a slender girl of about 13, takes shelter. She sits against a brick wall damp from the earlier drizzle. Her tattered hoodie barely keeps the cold away, and rain-soaked strands of hair obscure part of her face. In her small, trembling hands, she clutches a handmade sign on a piece of cardboard. "I need help. Please." Though the lettering is smudged by the rain, the desperation remains clear. Few passers-by actually look her way, and even fewer dare to stop. Embarrassed or afraid, they quicken their steps, hoping to avoid the unsettling reality Lily represents. She's too used to it by now. The hurried glances, the dismissive shrugs, the loud silence of those who refuse to see her. Yet tonight feels different. There's a strange tension in the air, almost like a static charge before a storm. Lily can feel it. Despite the swirl of noise, she senses that something, or someone, could break the cycle of being overlooked. She continues to cling to that single strand of hope while the night deepens. A short distance away, a black car pulls up in front of a modest restaurant. Out steps Keanu Reeves, his demeanor calm, his gaze thoughtful. He's just finished a private dinner with a few friends, seeking a moment of respite from the whirlwind that is celebrity life. But as he emerges onto the sidewalk, something tugs at his attention, perhaps a quiet sense that not all is well in this glimmering city. He notices Lily's small figure at the mouth of the alley. She's nearly invisible among the clutter of discarded boxes and shadows. Keanu hesitates, not wanting to startle her, but he can't ignore the knot forming in his chest. Taking a subtle breath, he crosses the street, each step measured. Up close, he sees the fatigue etched into Lily's features. Sleepless nights, raw hunger, unspoken grief. He lowers himself to her eye level, speaking gently. "Hey! Are you okay?" Surprise flickers across Lily's eyes. Strangers rarely address her kindly. She grips her sign tighter, as if it's a shield against disappointment. For a moment, she struggles for words. I need help," she finally admits, voice unsteady. "What kind of help?" Keanu asks softly, noticing she trembles not just from the cold but from fear and uncertainty. She looks away, wrestling with a part of her she's kept buried. "Money," she whispers. "But it's not for me." There's a protective determination in the way she speaks. Keanu senses this is about more than just a night's meal. "I can get you something to eat," he offers. "Maybe some hot chocolate. Would you like that?" Lily hesitates, scanning his face for any sign of ill intent. For once, she detects genuine concern. Reluctantly, she nods, hugging her small backpack as she stands. Together, they make their way down the alley toward a 24-hour diner a block away. The neon sign flickers overhead, casting shifting red and blue hues across the wet pavement. Inside the diner, warmth envelopes them both. The waitress, a woman with tired eyes but a kind smile, shows them to a booth by the window. Keanu orders hot chocolate and a small meal for Lily. When the steaming mug is placed in front of her, Lily wraps her hands around it, soaking in the soothing heat. For a moment, neither speaks. The diner's fluorescent lights hum, and the clink of utensils on plates mixes with late-night chatter from other patrons. The tension in Lily's shoulders gradually eases as she sips her drink. She's hungrier than she realized, taking cautious bites of the sandwich Keanu insisted she try. Keanu breaks the silence softly. "How long have you been out on the street?" Lily doesn't look up. "A few weeks," she murmurs, swallowing a painful truth. "Maybe more. I lost track." Keanu wants to ask about her parents, but senses the rawness behind her eyes. Instead, he says, "We'll figure something out." She stiffens. "I don't think you can help me with what I really need." "Try me," Keanu replies, earnest. Hesitantly, Lily begins to speak about Toby, her kitten. She describes how Toby is sick, no appetite, frequent vomiting, a frightening weight loss. Her voice quivers as she explains her suspicion that Toby might have swallowed something he shouldn't have. Her mother was a veterinarian, she says, before tragedy struck and upended her world. Keanu listens intently, never interrupting. "So that's why you were on the street? To raise money for Toby's surgery?" he finally asks. Lily nods, tears threatening to spill. "My uncle took me in, but he hates animals. He told me to get rid of Toby or he'd throw us both out. I had nowhere else to go." A quiet determination settles in Keanu. He's seen heartbreak before, lost loved ones, unspoken grief. But this child, fighting for the life of a helpless kitten, sparks something deeper in him. "Then we'll get Toby to a vet," he says, resolute. "Now." Lily's eyes widen. "But the surgery? It's too expensive. And Toby's hidden in a box in an alley. I was trying to keep him warm, but—" "That's all the more reason," Keanu says, already rising to pay for their meal. "You can trust me." He extends a hand toward Lily, who stares at it for a moment before taking it. Her grip slight but a spark of hope flickering in her eyes. The alley where Toby lay is dimly lit by a lone flickering street lamp. Lily rushes ahead, leading Keanu past dumpsters and old cardboard. "He's here," she whispers, crouching beside a worn blanket. The tiny kitten is curled in a shallow cardboard box, fur matted and eyes glazed. "Hey there, little guy," Keanu says softly, reaching out to feel Toby's body temperature. The kitten's breathing is shallow. Lily carefully lifts Toby, cradling him against her chest. "Hold on," she murmurs, voice cracking with panic. "We're getting help now." Flagging a taxi in this neighborhood at this hour is no small feat, but Keanu manages to hail one. The driver glances suspiciously at the pair, an A-list actor with a soaking wet teenage girl and her cat. Recognizing Keanu, though, the driver simply nods and hits the gas. Lily holds Toby close, whispering reassurances. Keanu can almost feel the seconds ticking by. Despite Lily's brave front, tears streak her cheeks as she notices Toby's weak response. At last, the taxi squeals to a stop outside an emergency veterinary clinic. Keanu pays without hesitation, stepping out into the drizzly night. They hurry inside, hearts pounding. A receptionist, startled by their urgent arrival, ushers them to a veterinarian who swiftly takes Toby into the back for an examination. Lily stands frozen, her arms empty now that Toby is in professional hands. Keanu gently guides her to the waiting room seats. The harsh overhead lighting and antiseptic smell intensify the tension. Lily's foot taps restlessly on the tile floor. Her face is pale, and her fingers twist the hem of her hoodie. Keanu sits beside her, offering a steady presence. "I'm so scared," Lily finally breathes, scarcely louder than a whisper. "You're not alone," Keanu replies, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Whatever happens, we'll handle it." She peers at him, almost as if expecting him to vanish at any moment, a figure of her imagination. But he remains, unflinching. After what feels like an eternity, the vet reappears, wearing a serious expression. He has a severe obstruction in his digestive tract, the veterinarian reports. "We need to operate immediately. I won't lie, his condition is fragile, but surgery is his best chance." Lily's face goes ashen. "Surgery? How much will it cost?" Keanu cuts in gently. "Don't worry. Do whatever you need to do. I'll take care of it." The vet nods, relief evident in his eyes. Too often, Animals are turned away or even euthanized when owners cannot pay. Tonight, Toby is spared that fate. Lily watches Toby being wheeled into an operating area, tears silently slipping down her cheeks. The weight of her relief and fear mixes, leaving her unable to speak. Keanu steadies her with a comforting presence. The surgery takes over an hour. Lily sits curled up in the waiting room chair, mind racing with memories. Her parents' faces, her mother's stories of saving stray dogs and cats, the day Toby was brought home as a tiny kitten. She can almost hear her mother's encouraging voice, telling her to never give up on an animal in need. Keanu remains near, occasionally stepping out to answer calls on his phone but always coming back. Each time Lily sees him return, a flicker of gratitude warms the knot of anxiety in her chest. She barely knows this man beyond his famous face, yet he's shown her more kindness than many people she's encountered in her short life. Finally, the vet emerges, looking tired but hopeful. We removed a piece of plastic lodged in his intestine. Toby is stable. The next 24 hours will be crucial for recovery. Lily exhales a sob that sounds like a broken laugh. Her exhaustion shows in the trembling of her hands, yet her eyes shine with a fragile hope. Keanu gives her shoulder a light squeeze. He made it this far. The vet escorts them to the recovery area where Toby rests in a small, heated cage. The kitten is hooked up to an 4, his breathing slow but steady. With the vet's permission, Lily carefully threads her fingers through the cage bars, stroking Toby's head. A faint mewl escapes him. "You're going to be okay," she whispers. "We're together." When the morning sun peeks through the clinic's windows, Lily and Keanu are still there, bleary-eyed. Toby has to remain under observation, so the vet suggests Lily come back each day to check on him. But Lily pales at the thought. "I don't have anywhere to take him after. I can't go back to my uncle's." Keanu frowns at the mention of Lily's uncle, remembering her earlier comments. "Is there any other family?" Lily shakes her head. "None who can or want to help." Silence falls between them. Keanu's mind spins with possibilities. He's well aware that Lily can't just stay on the street with a recovering kitten. "Let's talk to the vet, see if there's a temporary foster option," he suggests. Soon, they're introduced to a compassionate veterinary assistant who knows of a shelter that occasionally takes in both kids in crisis and their animals, bridging them to social services or foster care. Lily looks skeptical, having known only neglect, but she also sees no other path. "Would you be willing to try it?" Keanu asks, crouching to meet her gaze. Lily hesitates. "As long as Toby can stay with me, I'll try anything." Keanu smiles, relief clear on his face. "All right. Let's head there once Toby is cleared by the vet." Before Lily can fully settle into the idea, trouble arrives. Later that day, while Lily sits by Toby's cage, her uncle bursts into the clinic. Tall and broad-shouldered, he wears a frustrated scowl. "Lily," he barks, "you can't just run off. The police came asking questions. Where you were, how you were living, like it's my fault." Lily stands, stunned. You said you didn't want me if I kept Toby. So I left." Her uncle glances at Keanu and then at Toby. "That cat is a nuisance. I already have enough problems without feeding another mouth." He crosses his arms. "But the cops are sniffing around. They're saying I'm neglecting you. If they push me too far, I could lose my job and my home." Hearing this, Lily's gut twists. As much as she resents her uncle's cruelty, she dreads another confrontation that could put Toby in danger, or force them apart. She has a right to safe shelter, Keanu interjects firmly. She's only trying to save her kitten. The uncle scoffs. "And who exactly are you? Some do-gooder? Look, Lily, you either come home now without that cat, or you stay out of my life. I'm not housing a kid who can't follow my rules." Lily's hand tightens around the cage. Toby weakly mews, oblivious to the tension. The receptionist tries to usher them to a private area to avoid disturbing other clients. "I'm not leaving Toby," Lily asserts, voice quivering but unwavering. "Never." With a glare, her uncle throws up his hands. "Fine. You deal with the consequences." Don't come crying to me when you have no place to live. Keanu steps between them. If Lily doesn't want to go with you, nobody can force her. Infuriated, the uncle storms out, muttering curses under his breath. Lily collapses into a seat, tears sliding down her cheeks. Now I really don't have anywhere, she whispers. Keanu kneels beside her. You do. We'll figure it out. 2 days later, once Toby is stable enough to be discharged, Lily and Keanu stand before a nondescript building with a small sign reading, Golden Bridge Shelter. Inside is a modest yet welcoming lobby, decorated with cheerful posters of animals and children bonding. A gentle-faced woman named Marissa greets them. Marissa kneels to Lily's level. Hi there. You must be Lily. And this little one is Toby. Lily nods. Toby is bundled in a soft blanket, purring faintly now that his pain meds are helping him heal. She's still anxious. Her heart pounds at the idea of trusting yet another stranger. Marissa explains how the shelter works. Children in crisis can stay in a dorm-like setting with supervised support. If they have pets, the shelter makes arrangements for medical care and proper living space for them as well. We don't separate families, Marissa says warmly, even if one family member has 4 paws. Lily tries to mask her relief, but the tension in her shoulders eases. Keanu goes through some paperwork, wanting to ensure Lily is in safe hands. In the background, Toby gives a small mew, drawing Lily's attention. She rubs her cheek against his soft fur, feeling a tiny glimmer of optimism. Once the documentation is in order, Marissa leads them down a short hallway to a cozy, quiet room. There's a small bed for Lily, a cat bed for Toby, and a table with fresh blankets. You'll have privacy here, Marissa says. We also have a communal space where you can meet other kids, play games, and even continue schooling. We have staff who can help get you into an online program. Keanu lingers at the doorway. He's relieved to see that Lily and Toby will have a warm, secure environment. Lily swallows hard, tears filling her eyes. I don't know how to thank you, she whispers, staring at Keanu. You don't have to, he replies. You just focus on Toby's recovery and your own well-being. I'll stay in touch. They exchange a brief hug, surprising Lily with how safe she feels for a split second. It's the kind of comfort she hasn't known since she lost her parents. Days turn into weeks at Golden Bridge Shelter. Lily quickly settles into a routine. Mornings involve a basic educational program taught by volunteer teachers. Afternoons are free time where she often helps in the small on-site animal care area. And evenings she spends reading or playing quietly with Toby in her room. Toby recovers steadily. His fur regains a healthy shine, and his appetite returns with gusto. Each day, Lily sees more of the playful kitten she used to know. Whether he's pawing at a toy mouse or curling into Lily's lap for a nap, Toby's presence soothes her lingering fears. Marissa and the shelter staff notice Lily's interest in animal care. She listens intently when the shelter's vet technician, Aaron, visits. He teaches her how to administer medications or properly feed rescued cats. Lily soaks up every detail, recalling how her mother used to talk about the importance of technique, patience, and empathy in veterinary work. Despite these moments of peace, Lily's nights are often restless. She sometimes wakes from nightmares of car accidents, recalling the loss of her parents. The shelter's on-site counselor gently offers her a space to talk about her grief. At first, Lily is hesitant, but gradually she begins sharing memories. Her mother's gentle encouragement, her father's warm laughter. Yet, the darkest memory is always the day her parents didn't come to pick her up, and the call that changed her life forever. Talking about it opens old wounds, but Lily starts to realize healing can begin only when you stop hiding from the pain. One evening, while Lily sits in the shelter's lounge, she overhears a conversation between Marissa and another staff member about foster care placements. Her heart skips a beat. She remembers her uncle's threat, that he'd make her return or cast her out again. She's still a minor. Someone must be her guardian. An uneasy thought crosses her mind. Could she be sent to a place that refuses Toby? Could the system fail her like her family did? Fear gnaws at her. She strokes Toby's fur, searching for comfort. The next day, Lily cautiously approaches Marissa. What happens to me if no one wants to foster me? Will I have to leave Toby behind? Marissa kneels to meet her eyes. We'll do everything we can to keep you together. You're under our care right now, so no one can force you back to a home where you don't feel safe. But in the long run, we might look for a foster family who understands your bond with Toby or see if you have any extended relatives who truly want to help. We'll also consult with Child Protective Services. Nodding, Lily tries to keep her worry in check, but she can't ignore the possibility that life might uproot her again. A few days later, Lily is surprised when a shelter staff member tells her she has a visitor. Her heart leaps. Could it be her uncle? Anxiety churns until she steps into the lobby and sees Keanu Reeves, dressed in a simple jacket, offering a gentle smile. "Long time no see," he greets. Lily's relief is palpable. She rushes forward. "I'm so happy you're here. Toby's doing better. He's healthy now. Come see him." They make their way to the small dorm room where Toby meows a greeting. Keanu pets the kitten, marveling at the transformation. "I hardly recognize him. He's so lively." Lily beams. "Yeah, he's been bouncing back, thanks to the surgery. And thanks to you." Keanu looks around at the shelter space. "How are you holding up? Are they taking good care of you here?" Lily nods quickly. "The people are kind. I'm learning a lot about animal care, just like my mom used to do." Her face falters slightly. "But I'm scared about the future. I don't know if someone will adopt me, or if I'll end up somewhere they won't let me keep Toby." Sensing her distress, Keanu sets a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I've spoken to some contacts," he explains. "There are people who run specialized foster programs for kids who want to work with animals. If you're interested, maybe we can look into that together. It might offer you a more permanent place, where Toby would also be welcome." Lily's eyes widen. The spark of hope returns. "Really? But would that be okay?" Keanu smiles. "We'll need to sort through some legal details, but yes. I wouldn't suggest it if I didn't think it was possible." Over the next couple of weeks, Keanu helps coordinate discussions between the shelter, Child Protective Services, and an animal rescue foundation that runs a program for youth who have a passion for veterinary work. The program mentors kids, giving them hands-on training while providing safe housing. Lily is cautiously excited. Each step forward, though, is met with reams of paperwork and formal assessments. She goes through interviews, background checks, and psychological evaluations. Anxiety flares up often. She worries that she'll be deemed too troubled, or that Toby's medical history will deter them. But to her surprise, the people she meets admire her determination. They see a bright spark in her, a love for animals that can be nurtured. One of the program directors, a middle-aged veterinarian named Dr. Morris, is particularly supportive. He says Lily reminds him of his own daughter, who dreamed of becoming a vet before going off to college. Marissa at the shelter encourages Lily, helping her prepare for each step. Meanwhile, Toby continues to thrive, chasing bits of yarn and climbing onto Lily's lap whenever she's still. Their bond is evident to anyone who steps into the room. Keanu remains in the background, busy with his own commitments but checking in regularly. His presence alone is a testament that Lily isn't forgotten or disposable, a feeling she's wrestled with ever since losing her parents. Just when it seems Lily is nearing acceptance into the specialized foster program, her uncle resurfaces. This time, he arrives at the shelter, complaining that he's being harassed by social workers and threatened with a legal negligence case. "I never asked for this responsibility," he snaps at Marissa, ignoring Lily's presence. "If she wants to stay here, fine. I'm washing my hands of the entire situation." Lily stands at the hallway's edge, Toby bundled in her arms, her eyes brimming with tears. Despite everything, she can't help but feel abandoned all over again. There's a sting in hearing her own flesh and blood disclaim any care for her well-being. Marissa responds diplomatically. It's Lily's right to remain in a supportive environment. If you wish to relinquish guardianship, that's a legal process we can help coordinate. Our priority is ensuring Lily's safety and stability. He scowls, spitting out a retort. "Do whatever you want. She's not my problem." A staff member discreetly leads him away, and Lily exhales, torn between heartbreak and relief. After he's gone, Marissa comes over to Lily, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We're here for you. Don't let his words scare you." Lily nods, tears escaping. She buries her face in Toby's fur, the kitten's warmth comforting her in a moment so bitter. At last, the specialized foster program finalizes Lily's acceptance. Dr. Morris extends an invitation. Lily will live with a foster family who run a small farm-turned-animal sanctuary a few miles from the city. They have extra space, stable resources, and a deep understanding of how healing the bond between a child and an animal can be. Toby, of course, is welcome. The news arrives on a crisp, clear afternoon. Lily, struggling to contain her excitement, finds Keanu in the shelter's common area. He's been in town for a charitable event and stopped by to see how she's doing. "They said yes," Lily exclaims, tears of joy in her eyes. "I can bring Toby, and they'll teach me more about veterinary care. I can't believe this is happening." Keanu's smile is warm, reflecting genuine pride. "That's the best news I've heard in a long time. You've come a long way since that night on the sidewalk." "I never thought any of this could happen," Lily confesses, her voice trembling with gratitude. "Sometimes I thought about giving up, but you stopped that night. You cared enough to listen. Lily, you're the one who refused to give up. I just gave a little push." She hugs Toby close, and for a moment, the entire journey flashes before her. From that rain-soaked alley to the frantic ride to the vet, from the heartbreak of her uncle's rejection to finding an unexpected family in the shelter staff and now a promising future at the sanctuary. Keanu hands Lily a small envelope. "Open it later," he says gently. "It's just a letter for you, letting you know you can always reach out if you need anything." Lily cradles the envelope as though it's fragile. "Thank you for everything." That evening, Lily and Toby say their goodbyes to Marissa, the staff, and a few other residents they've befriended at the shelter. It's bittersweet. This place became a refuge when Lily had nowhere else to go. But it's time to move on, stepping toward the life she and Toby deserve. As Lily steps out of the shelter door, Toby perched in her arms, Keanu stands by, making sure she's all set. She climbs into Dr. Morris's car, which will take her to her new foster home. The engine starts, and Lily waves out the window to Keanu and the shelter staff gathered on the sidewalk. In that moment, Lily's heart feels full, still bruised from loss, but no longer weighed down by hopelessness. She sees Toby dozing contentedly, safe and loved. And for the first time in what feels like forever, she can see a brighter tomorrow. Weeks later, Keanu sifts through his mail and finds a note addressed in Lily's careful handwriting. "Dear Keanu, I'm writing to let you know Toby and I are doing great." He's back to his playful self. He chases the other cats here on the farm and even curls up with the dogs when he thinks no one's watching. "I've started helping Dr. Morris in the barn and the clinic. They're teaching me so much, just like my mom once did. Sometimes I still miss my parents really badly, but now I feel like I'm honoring them by taking care of the animals they loved. I can never thank you enough. You saved Toby's life, and by doing that, you saved mine, too. One day, I want to rescue animals the way you rescued us. Maybe I can make people realize that no act of kindness is ever too small. With endless gratitude, Lily and Toby, who's currently asleep on my lap." Keanu closes the letter, a gentle smile turning up the corners of his mouth. In a world so often harsh and indifferent, a small, compassionate gesture had not only mended two hearts but served as a reminder that hope can flourish even in the darkest corners.